Bob, Hurricane Hannah won the first AMA 125 national stage at Red Bud Track and Trail back in 1976. Since that time, names like Mark Barnett, Jeff Ford, Johnny O'Mara, Guy Cooper, Jeff Emmett, Steve Lamson, and Ricky Carmichael have all celebrated on the top step of the podium here at Red Bud. Today, James Stewart looks to add his name to that prestigious list as the 125 rookie goes after his 4th consecutive moto win and the 4th national win of his young career. High atop Buchanan, Michigan, we are here for the 6th round of the 2002 AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. National Motocross Championships. This afternoon, we will be watching the 125cc action. And as you can see, there are thousands of people here at Red Bud on a perfect day, a perfect weekend for another Red Bud Classic. Hello everyone, I'm Davey Coombs, and joining me is former champion David Bailey. And David, we've had an incredible 125 National Series so far, but the one thing we still haven't seen is what everyone's been expecting, and that's a straight-up battle between James Stewart and Chad Reed.
Well, it's always something that keeps these guys apart, whether it's a bike problem or an injury, a bad start. Here we are on dirt, where Chad Reed gets good starts. Of course, he's had 3 weeks to heal that shoulder, so James Stewart may get some company up front today.
And it's more than just those two riders in this class. The Blimpie Suzuki team has been on a roll lately.
Well, they have done an amazing job, and Suzuki has had a tough time in the 250 class with Wyndham and Pastrana, so they needed these guys to step up. Jessamine is doing very well, and you can't count out Larry Ward, the crafty veteran. He's got the power today on that 4-stroke.
David, all season long, we've seen James Stewart introduce himself to the national fans. He's seen these tracks for the first time, and he looks completely comfortable.
He's a fast learner, Davey. We've seen that from the very beginning in Supercross. He's just totally confident in himself because he works so hard during the week.
And after his 3rd win at Budds Creek, he is now the points leader again.
Definitely my momentum is a lot bigger than what it was when I was coming into it. I was down by 5 points, and I came out by 5 points. So, definitely just got to, keep racing like I was when I was behind and just keep charging and trying to get every position I can. But here, luckily, I've been getting out front and, getting a good lead the first couple of laps and just riding around after that. But this week it's a dirt start again, and I think Chad does pretty good on the dirt. So we'll see. I'm ready.
Stewart makes it look so easy, and that's why he's our point leader. You see him with 190 total points. Reed is 5 behind him. Ernesto Fonseca is a distant 3rd. Now back to that dirt start. Cameron Steele has more down on the starting gate here at Red Bud.
As you can see down here at the start, it's all dirt. Chad Reed excels in the dirt. He's right behind me. In Supercross, the guy was dominant. He won almost everything. And then we went to the Outdoor Nationals. The only dirt start he got so far was at High Point. He won both photos and had great starts. We'll see if he can do it here again today. And we spoke to Chad a little bit earlier about what it would take to win and get a good start.
I think that probably the main thing is that I know I can get good starts on the dirt. Seem to be struggling on the concrete, and I just got to get it out of my head that that I just got to practice it and get better at it and just get confident at it. And the dirt, I've been starting on the dirt all my life, so it's just like second nature to me, and the concrete's just something I need to get used to.
David, remember when Sebastian Tortelli came over here, he used to practice his concrete starts in his driveway.
Well, that helps, but then when you get on the starting line, you have all the bikes next to you. It's hard to hear your own bike. That's the problem where these guys have the RPMs too high or low. Let's look at the track. Hasn't changed much over the years. It's just a gorgeous layout. It's kind of interesting for a spectator because it disappears here and there, so there's a little suspense put into the race as they drop over into the valley, come around back to the front where everyone parks. You see they head up Morocco's Leaf there on the right, and perfect day for racing so far.
Take a look at our Suzuki starting lineup. James Stewart on top, Chad Reed, Ernesto Fonseca, the Blimpie Suzuki riders, Jessamine, Smith, and Antonez. A little further back, Larry Ward, last year's winner here at this event on the Moto XXX Privateer Yamaha. And even further back, Eric Sorby making his first visit. And don't count out Josh Woods. He is a local Michigan talent. He's a rookie just like Stewart. Not quite having the luck, but definitely a good prospect. Now, the card has gone sideways. We are on the starting gate, and the Red Bud Classic is about to begin. And there they go. Off the start, coming up the inside, a very fast first corner, and it looks like, a pile of Buddy Antonez out front, and that is James Stewart has gone down. Stewart and Fonseca down in the first turn. Now Antonez, the former Arena Cross champion, out front. There you see Larry Ward, like we mentioned, last year's winner. A great start for both these veteran riders.
You got to think that Larry would have an advantage after doing so well here last year with Antonez riding Arena Cross, but he's been around a while. He's just as crafty as Larry Ward, and these guys have an incredible opportunity. So does Chad Reed. I haven't spotted him just yet, but with Stewart down, this is huge in terms of the championship, and it didn't look like Stewart was able to get back to his bike without limping. He may be hurt.
There you see Antonez, then it's Larry Ward, and then it's the Red Bull KTM of Brock Sellards in third. And right there on the inside, you see Chad Reed, Yamaha Troy. He is a contender. And once again, on the dirt start, David, he got off the gate well.
Well, besides getting off the gate well, and the luck seems to be going his way. Mount Morris.
Whoa, Larry Ward goes down. Larry Ward drops it. You see he just got passed by Josh Demuth. And there you see Mike Brown back in action on the #1 bike. A little spill by Larry Ward cost him right away. And now Chad Reed, just like that, is gone into second.
This is a good break for Chad. And that's what I was just starting to say at Mount Morris. He seemed to be getting the breaks. He got good starts. Brown had some problems. Stewart had some bad luck even getting to the race. Lost his luggage and then injured his knee on Saturday. And right here coming into the first corner, he's right behind on the very inside. Sellards, it looks like. Gets his back tire, goes down, and the Plano Honda guys runs right over his leg. That's why he's limping, I have a feeling. And you see Fonseca getting tumbled. He gets missed. Jessamine going down. It cleaned out everybody.
Well, David, we see pileups like that often here at Redbud. The guys on the inside have to slow down. The outside sweeps in. Guys breaking at different moments, and it happens. Now, taking a look at Larry Ward, what was this about?
And that was just goofy right there. Larry's been around that corner 1,000 times in his career. He got to go around and check it out during their warm-up lap, and he still went down right there. That could cost him the win right now.
When we come back, Buddy Antonez out front on the Blimpie Suzuki. Then it's Chad Reed, Brock Sellards, and 3D Racing's Kelly Smith here at Redbud. Speed World's presentation of AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Honda, performance first. And by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles. Well, we have already had some high drama here at Redbud. At the 6th round of the 125cc National Motocross Championships, our points leader, James Stewart, down in a pile in the first turn. And now at the front of the pack, you see Buddy Antonez, and he's got Chad Reed right behind him. And David Bailey, this is Reed's chance to take that points lead back.
Well, he should be able to erase that 5-point gap and add another 5 points to it at least. Who knows if Stewart's even going to be able to come up and get into the top 20. And what surprises me is knowing that Reed has got to be in a hurry right here, recognizing this opportunity. He cannot get around Antonez.
Antonez probably learned some of those defensive measures in the Arena Cross series. We mentioned before, Buddy spent the last half-dozen years there, it seems like. You can see the gap on the field. Sellards is third, and that's Kelly Smith, a local privateer, in fourth. And then Mike Brown finally looks like he's 100% again, or at least close to it, coming up on the inside on the #1 Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
Looked like he had it right there, but Kelly Smith knows this place pretty well. He knew what was going to happen at the end of that sweeper. He'd have the inside again. And Antonez is just flowing a little bit better right now.
There you see Reed on the end. Right there, Reed does a nice inside-out pass. Not a lot Buddy could do there. Yeah, that's one of the things you get here at Redbud, a very wide track. Tim Ritchie takes great pride in the soil. They haul in sand. They make it as wide and as rough as they can. And you get a lot of room for passes like that.
Yeah, and Reed was close enough to set that all up, but he recognized that down there in the bottom, some of those corners are a little bit deep right now with some of the ruts, and he took it was a great idea to get him through there and just kind of catch Buddy by surprise. But Buddy, so far, has just looked a little bit smoother around the entire racetrack. Just kind of took his time too much coming into this corner. He goes for the berm. He's kind of undecided right there. He doesn't really get on it hard enough and didn't realize Reed was there. So close.
Now this is the battle for fourth, and just like that, Mike Brown goes by Kelly Smith. Again, not a lot you can do when a rider comes in that fast. You see Brown take a little look over his shoulder, and just a disastrous year so far for Mike.
That's too bad. That number 1 plate will be gone. And that's unfortunate because he's fast enough to keep it.
Now back up to the view from the top of the pack. This is all the way back in 10th spot. And David, that's James Stewart. He has obviously made it past the top 20.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe what I'm seeing from this kid. He was so far behind.
Let's go down to his mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht.
J-Bone, you got a little crash there at the start coming out of the second turn, 39. Seems like he's picked up the pace and is going through the guys pretty easily.
It seems like it's coming through the pack pretty good. You know, so fortunately he fell in the first turn because he actually looked like he had a pretty good jump. But I mean, that's part of racing. He's riding real hard, so we'll see what happens.
Anything visually wrong with the bike?
Not that I could tell. I mean, he's back up to pace and everything looks fine for everybody else on the track, scouting it out.
Ron, thanks.
Yep, no problem.
Well, you know what happens is when we see Carmichael in the 250 class have a problem, then he shows us the real speed. And he doesn't always have to show us. Right now, Stewart is showing us how fast he really can go. He's got a tear off flapping on his hand. He couldn't get loose.
He's pulling up right on the guy who won this race last year.
Something about blue, Davey. Seems like when he wears blue, he has problems.
Well, one of the knocks on James coming out of the amateur ranks was the fact that he was so much better than most of the other kids that he had no experience in passing his way through the pack. He was always way, way out front. But as you can see, he definitely knows how to pass these guys.
He can do it all. He gets around Larry Ward right there coming into that sweeper, and Ward is going to see that he may have been close to Pastrana last year, the young phenomenon, but I think he's going to see right now that there's no way in the world he's going to stay with Stewart. No wonder he's in the points lead.
Back up to the front of the pack. There went Reed right out of your picture. This is LaRocco's leap, and you see the 125s are making a double out of it. This is Antonez and Brown in the battle for second.
And look how clean Antonez is compared to Brown. Brown reaching for tearaways up there off that jump, and that's the advantage of getting a great start. And once again, Antonez is up there battling with the best riders in the world. And I just didn't think he was going to be able to come out of Arena Cross and do that, but he has done it.
Well, you know what? He got a lot of help, or a lot of practice, I should say, doing those hole shots. For a night, he's had a lot of times on the starting gate.
And plenty of times trying to hold off.
Oh, right there. Brown comes up underneath him. And now it's a sprint race down past the mechanics area. And Brown's going to win that race. He just seemed to have better drive out of that corner.
And he was not going to let him by. He could have been on a 5 less horsepower. He would have just moved over and ran Antonez into the hay bales right there. Brown is aggressive, and Antonez can probably try to stay with him right here and just figure out a good pace for the rest of the day. Assure himself a spot of perhaps picking up the overall win today.
Looking at Brown, what would it mean to him to be able to get up there and catch Chad Reed? You know, we talked about what a terrible season he's had. Now he's going for individual victories. Moto wins, overalls. How great would it be for him and his team to catch Chad Reed? Oh, and right there, no sooner we start talking about him catching Chad Reed and Mike Brown goes down, and he doesn't look like he's hurt, but he is slow getting up, David. And there goes James Stewart right there. James Stewart all the way up to 5th. He is right behind Michael Byrne, who just came off the sidelines from an injury. Unbelievable. Brown goes down, and James Stewart is already up into 6th place.
And he's pushing it. You saw Byrne scrub off a little bit of speed back there over that double, and then Stewart did it twice as much, and there he goes again. Look, he's just faster. Every foot of the racetrack, he is as aggressive as he can possibly be, and he's hitting those lines. Still hasn't got rid of that tear off on his hand. But it doesn't seem to be bothering him right. He doesn't have time to reach up and fix that.
And next ahead for James Stewart will be Kelly Smith on the Privateer Yamaha. Again, you know, James Stewart seeing this track for the first time. He's an absolute rookie. Now, going back, this is what happened to Mike Brown.
Came down that hill way too hard, went right into a braking bump sideways, kicked back the other way. But what I like about Brown when he falls, and, you know, it sounds crazy, but there is an art to falling. He always falls off the side of the bike and just sort of tumbles. And when you do that, you don't get hurt. Michael Byrne finding out, well, this is the pace they're running now. That's not going to be easy to catch up to, but very few guys able to run the pace that Stewart's running. Look how hard he is in that Byrne, just pinned everywhere.
And there you see Mike Brown going off the racetrack. Another disappointment for the 125 national champion. Welcome back to Redbud. There goes Buddy Antonez. Here's Brock Sellards, and there's James Stewart. all the way up to 4th place in this moto after going down the first turn. David, an amazing ride.
And you see him look over to his right as he went over that jump. He's not looking at the 2 guys ahead of him. He's going, where is that leader? I want to win this moto. And I guarantee you, it's a lot like when he fell in the first turn at Anaheim during the Supercross. He told me afterwards, he's like, I just wanted to see how many people I could pass. I thought I could still win.
And that race was an instant classic, and this one is shaping up as one. There you see the view from above, and on the inside, there goes Stewart right past Sellards.
And a clean pass. You know, he could have gone in there and made that a little bit ugly, but he went in there hot. He tried to avoid contact. He did. There's no reason for Sellards to come back after him. Remember that in Phoenix, it wasn't quite that nice, and he wanted to make sure this time he passed him fair and square, and he did.
Down off the long drop away in the back section of the track, you could see the lines forming up everywhere. A very wide and fast track today. And James, and right there, you caught a glimpse of Chad Reed at the bottom of your screen. Reed has been the leader since about the 3rd lap, and Stewart actually has a chance now of catching him coming from dead last.
Who would have thought that he would? There's Antonez right there that he's got well within his sights. Reed, I don't know. The whole crowd has been on this since the announcer picked up on it. Over the triple, he makes that. It's beautiful to be able to see from up here what these lines look like.
Up over the double-double goes Stewart, and now he's almost in the same picture frame as Buddy Antonez. Yellow flag out. That was someone else down up there on the top of the corner, but you can see the gap now. Stewart already in the 3rd place. He's got a shot at 2nd, and if he can get by Antonez in time, he may even go after Chad Reed.
Well, he's not going to stop at getting around Buddy Antonez. Yeah, that would put him in a position to still get the overall if he can win the 2nd moto. And with the speed he's carrying right now, it looks like with a mid-pack start, he should be able to win the 2nd moto, but you never know. There's Reed going by the other way, and that gap to Antonez is shrinking. He knows this is coming, and I wonder how long he's going to be able to put up a fight.
Would Stewart be getting winded by this time?
I think the adrenaline right now and the points lead and wanting to sort of prove to everybody, hey, I can do whatever it takes. I think that's what's really on his mind right now. He may be pretty tired between motos, but right now it's all systems go. Coming
up to LaRocco's leap, they both double it, keep it down low. They were jumping that in practice, but maybe a little too much water on the track, making traction tough for a 125 to get out of that bottom and jump that massive jump, probably the biggest jump on the national circuit.
Yeah, the other thing too is that you're in the air for so long, it takes so much effort on the 125 to get a run at it, and then you know, yesterday in practice, riders were breaking wheels up there, so it's a little bit of a risk.
And they're on the inside. Stewart took a stab at him. Antonez got in that corner quickly. Now they come past the scorers, taking air at the same time, and this is where he passed Sellards on the last lap. Down on the inside, there goes Stewart, and once again, he makes it look easy, a clean pass. Now it's that sprint race. And just like we saw Mike Brown on that Kawasaki outpull Antonez down that straightaway, Stewart is able to do the same thing. Now it's Reed first, Stewart second. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's go down to Cameron.
Jeremy, as we know, James was down in the first corner, came out 39th. Right now he's in 2nd place. Does he go after Chad Reed, or does he just cool it, take 2nd, and go for moto number 2?
Well, I mean, at this point, I mean, it's you know, definitely been a good ride. I'm just going to tell him to be smooth and be smart, you know, and basically we can get the overall if he wins the next moto, which by speed, he looks like he's plenty got enough speed and endurance, so we should be fine in the next moto.
I wonder what Chad's thinking about with his mechanic telling him that James is behind him now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's only 3 laps left, and he's about 11 seconds back, so it's possible, but it'll be a little bit of work.
Thanks.
Yep.
There you see the gap as James Stewart goes in front of what looks like the world's biggest parking lot here at Redbud. 24,000 motocross fans enjoying an instant classic. Is Stewart from 39th to 2nd. He's got some time left. Can he get Chad Reed?
Well, what he's got to do here, he's already ridden that hard. What's a few more laps of riding hard and wear and tear on your body? Go for it. Make Reed nervous. Maybe he'll get behind a lapped rider. Maybe he'll stall that. Who knows? You got to try. Giving up is not Stewart's style. That's not what's got him here.
A little further back, this is the battle for 5th. Kelly Smith ahead of Larry Ward, another privateer. Then you see Matt Walker, and then it's Brandon Jessamine, who was also in that first turn crash. But we should say, Jessamine there at the end, Jessamine did not actually go down, so Stewart has come past him as well.
Yes, well, these guys are going to, there's Fonseca having his problems. That's right there in the mechanics there, right in front of his mechanic, so they'll give him something to talk about after the race. And I thought he might do better after spending some time with Carmichael during this break. Maybe his expectations were a little bit too high. Who knows? He looked good yesterday in practice, but this is nowhere near where he's capable of finishing. And Jessamine, he's going to look at what Stewart did in this moto and realize, well, I pretty much was in the same boat. Why couldn't I do that? He's been riding well, but that's a good measuring stick right there to see what is possible when you're that far back.
There you see riders 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's Smith, Ward, Jessamine, and Matt Walker. David, this class, the 125 class, it's amazing Stewart's able to come up like that because it has been cutthroat all year long.
It's very deep. And, you know, I want to take a second and talk about Walker. You know, I really expected him to do a little bit better so far in the Nationals. He's had sections where he's done well, but I talked to Mitch Payton a little bit about it, and he's just trying so hard. And I think right now to see him sitting back there where he is, he's riding smart today, and he's got something he can build on. And Reed's just getting overshadowed terribly by the effort of Stewart right now. The crowd here, most of them have never seen these guys ride. They're seeing why Reed is so dominant in that Supercross series, why he has a big contract now, but I think they're a little more excited about what Stewart's done here in his first moto.
Well, Stewart able to pass 38 riders, but not this one. Chad Reed holds on, and you know what? We're back to that dirt start thing. The only other 2 motos so far this year, High Point Raceway, dirt start he wins, and then he wins his 3rd moto right here at Redbud. A good start and a solid finish for Chad Reed. He is our winner in the first moto here at Redbud. And Larry Ward also became the first person to win a 125 National on a 4-stroke motorcycle. And now Chad Reed has a chance of doing the same here at Redbud. He's with Cameron.
A great Moto 1, Chad. We talked about it beforehand. Good starts on dirt. Feel comfortable out there today?
Yeah, I feel really comfortable. You know, I've been staying in Florida the last 2 weeks and just trying to get strong again. You know, I'm not 100% even today, and, you know, I feel really happy about the win. You know, it's all about the head. You know, I just got to get confident on the concrete and get off that, and we'll be swinging.
Right on, the battle shaping up between you and James. Everybody talked about before the season started. You gained 3 points on him in that moto. That's got to feel good.
You know, I just want to do the best I can, moto in, moto out, and just take it all the way to the end and try and win this championship. You know, there's a lot of people that's helping me, and I just want to thank Yamaha, Troy, and Boost Mobiles, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Smith Goggles, just everybody for giving me the great support. Dunlop Tires for getting me off the dirt good. Now I just got to work on the concrete, and now I'm really happy.
There's some deep lines developing out there. Any changes in the bike for Moto 2?
Just a little bit. I was getting my boot caught on the radio strap. The ruts are getting that deep that we're starting to drag the handlebars, and my foot keeps getting caught on the radio shroud. So try and modify something and come out and get another good start like that and see how we go.
Good luck in Moto 2.
Thanks a lot.
Great effort by Chad Reed to get the moto win. James Stewart 2nd. Antonez finishes 3rd. Jessamine was able to get up to 6th. And Andrew Short rounding out the top 10. A little further back, you see David Pingree, Paul Curry, and Danny Smith. An early fall, not a good moto for the Southwick winner. Back to Cameron, he's with Stewart.
Wow, James Stewart, everybody talks about your speed. A first turn crash, which you never want, but you charged back from, I think, 39th to 2nd. Man, you are going fast.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought I had a great start, and Brock was the only one in front of me, and I just high-sided off him and got hit. And the first lap, my throttle was sicking and front end was bent, but I put my head down and started charging. I mean, as soon as I got up, I thought I could win it still, and that's my motivation to keep going.
All those guys you passed, I got to know, do you see the numbers when you go by? Do you know who you're passing, and who was the toughest pass in that moto?
Probably Buddy Antonez. He was giving me a run. I mean, he held me off for a couple laps, and Larry Ward was holding me off a little bit. And you know, those guys did an awesome race, and I just, you know, I had that momentum going as soon as I got up and just kept charging.
Do you hold back a little bit at the end of the moto? You know you're in 2nd. If you win the 2nd moto, you get the overall, or were you charging all the way through?
Now, as soon as I got in 2nd, I went by the mechanics. They're like, I'm gonna catch him, and then about 2 laps ago, he still had a 10-second lead on me, and I thought to myself, a first is as good as the 2nd in the first moto. So, you know, I just got to get a great start and just walk away with the next one.
Well, you definitely have some incredible speed, and we'll see you in Moto 2.
Thanks.
Well, James is cute and always smiling and everything, but David behind those braces, he's a killer. Buddy Antonez was able to hold on to 3rd. He was the early leader until Chad Reed passed him.
Well, Buddy Antonez, you earned your first podium of the year, Moto #1. Looking solid and charging all the way.
Yeah, I felt really good. You know, I was running some block lines when Reed was behind me, and then once he got by me, I moved to some outside, started picking up the pace, and Bubba was coming. There was no holding him back, I don't think. I was doing the best I could. This Blimpie Suzuki got me off to a great start, and I just put my head down, you know, and rode as hard as I could for the whole 30 minutes plus 2 laps.
Well, a couple of the fastest guys in the world, I mean, yourself included, all doing battle out there, but you have a reputation as being tough to pass, and it was evident out there today.
Yeah, you know, I've been around the block a few times. I knew exactly where to go a little bit slower in the apex of the turn to be able to keep him from getting a wheel underneath me. I did all I could. Those 2 rode great race, and I'm just happy to put this Tony Berluti Blimpie Suzuki up here on the podium.
Right on, Moto #2, you think you can get up there and battle with these guys again, go for your overall podium?
I don't think I think I got to.
Right on, we'll see you in Moto 2.
Thanks a bunch.
Well, this part of the deal is Motocross. We are back at Red Bud getting ready for the second 125 Moto. Let's go down to Cameron Steele on the starting gate.
Moto #1, Chad Reed came out and kicked everyone's rear end. That's right, a first place. We said he was good at dirt starts, and he proved it. But hey, James Stewart was on the gas coming into turn #1, high-sided cartwheel. He went down. He got up virtually last place, and then mentally beat everybody down in the motocross race. He came back to second place. That's the battle we're probably looking for. Stewart and Reed. But hey, let's not forget Mike Brown. He had a big crash in Moto #1, breaking off his brake rotor, not able to continue. He's back for Moto 2. He should be on the gas. It should be a lot of fun to watch. You can hear the bikes revving up. It's time to go, and I got to get out of here.
Taking a look at our Suzuki starting lineup. Stewart and Reed, of course, the toast of the 125 class. Fonseca, 0 points in the first moto. You know he will be charging this time out. A little further down, Larry Ward finished 7th. Again, he was our winner last year. Rounding out the further end of the field, Roderick Thane of Yamaha of Troy. He has also been having a bad year. Now, the cart is getting ready to go sideways. The second moto of the 125 National here at Red Bud getting ready to get underway. We will see if Stewart can get out of the first turn cleanly. The gate is down, and here they come. A short start, but a fast first turn, and that's Kelly Smith, and James Stewart is clean, and he's out front, David.
Boy, he changed out of that blue. He's in his lucky color.
Stewart, Smith, Brandon Jessman, and then there's Chad Reed on the inside. So this is it, maybe. Chad Reed and James Stewart getting out to a good start, but Stewart already getting a little gap on the field.
Well, we saw how impressive he was in that first moto. Looks like Jessman might be making a move into second. And he may be even more impressive with the whole shot here than he was at Bud's Creek, where he had nearly a 10-second lead after lap 1.
See the mechanics trying to get an eyeful across the track. Again, 24,000 spectators. It's tough to see here at Red Bud. Now, these are the guys that have been going fast. Stewart first, Jessman second, Chad Reed third, and don't count out Kelly Smith. He finished a solid 5th in the first moto, though his wrist was hurting him.
Actually, Jessman had a faster lap in that first moto than Chad Reed, so he can go that pace. Top 3 guys all running together. We may get to see a better battle than we've been anticipating with Jessman added to the mix.
You see the track looks a little drier this time out. It was slick on that first lap in the first moto. You see the overhead shot. Stewart almost gets over into the hay bales there. Now he goes up around the big sweeper. James Stewart out front. Brandon Jessman second. Chad Reed is third. Can Reed get up there and catch Stewart? That is the story so far. You see Stewart get whipped over that big tabletop. Take a look at the start, David.
Reed getting off, he gets a little bit too much of a wheelie, has to back out of the power, and that just cost him. Stewart was over there on a little bit of a wheelie as well, but I don't think he had to let off. Plus, he had the inside, and he just shoved Kelly Smith all the way out to those hay bales. Didn't put him down, but made sure that he was going to get that whole shot. He's tired of passing people.
That could have been ugly for Kelly, but he got a good start, and now he's right up there with all the factory boys. Now back up to the front of the pack. There goes Stewart. Here's Jessman. There is Reed. Antonez didn't get such a good start, but Buddy Antonez is within the top 10. We'll see if he can come from behind this time.
See Reed going wide there to get a run at that double jump. Trying to get his line sorted out. The track quite a bit different in this moto. It's changed a lot since the 250s were out there on it, and the gap has stayed about the same. I expected Stewart to pull away more, but Jessman's right there with him.
Down into the bottom, and it looked like Reed almost was going to tip over there in that corner. That's what happened to Larry Ward in the first moto, and Reed hits again off the side of the track. A little bit of problems for our first moto winner. He's given Stewart a chance to get away from him.
Oh, just full of mistakes. That left and right, and you can see the gap that already opened up. Love the shots. You can really tell how far ahead these guys are.
And look how far ahead Reed is. You see him go back into the trees there. He is a long ways away, and Stewart almost goes off the track up toward the front of the pack. Now, camera focus is down. Jessman has caught Stewart. These three guys are completely pulling away from the pack now. Here comes Jessman down the outside. He's going to try and set something up here. Swings in, and there goes Jessman. Brandon Jessman leads for the first time in 2002, at least outdoors.
I love it. It's great to see him get in there and be in the right place at the right time. Stewart made a mistake in the exact same place he did on the first lap, and then it just took him a little bit to recover. And while he was trying to recover and get comfortable again, Jessman was all over him. So the mistakes from Stewart and Reed, the solid guys, the guys you don't expect mistakes from, cost him the lead here.
This 125 national class been like this all year long. You do good in one moto, you mess up in the other one. Up over LaRocco's lead. Stewart getting a little sideways there. Looks like he's trying to scrub speed. Jessamine out front on the Blimpie Suzuki. Then the KX 125 of Stewart. Then the YZ250F of Chad Reed. Right now, 2 points separating Stewart and Reed in their battle for the 125 national championship.
Well, if Reed can get around him right here, they move into a tie. But I think it's a lot more important than that right now. It's just for Stewart.
Oh, and Chad Reed goes down. Chad Reed went down. David, he's been having problems the whole last lap. And once again, it looked like his front wheel caught something, and out he went.
Well, I remember that section from racing there, and you go into the shade. They've also watered the track a little bit for this moto, and the guys are starting to make mistakes trying to get going. Stewart just jumped way too far off the track. Look how tweaked he got. He's trying to pull that bike back over to his left.
That's what gave Jessman a chance to get up close to him and then pass him in the next corner.
Now, these guys are pushing the pace as hard as they can, and with the water on the track right now, you just can't do that. You got to be a little bit more mellow. Stewart was trying to get into that berm slowly and just cut off the passing opportunity of Jessman and overshot the berm. He's looking back going, okay, where's Reed? It looks like I'll have second. You can see that front wheel plowing on Reed before he ever got to the shadows. He just leaned into that corner too soon, and in the first moto, you could do that. This moto, you can't.
And Reed cannot get that bike started. And finally, he bump starts it. And he is all the way back in last place. Chad Reed, a catastrophe. Here on the second lap of the second 125 moto, he goes from third to last. He couldn't get the bike started.
Being quite a bit more lenient these days as well, obviously, with the fact that these guys are going backwards on the racetrack at times. I wonder what we're looking at there. He's going backwards.
See Stewart do the big triple there. Jessman couldn't get over it, and then Jessman goes down. Brandon Jessman goes down. All three of these guys are having problems.
It's the water they put down and the pace. Those just don't go together.
And Jessman blows his first chance in the lead here in the 2002 season. Now he's got Larry Ward right behind him.
He should be able to recover and be all right with Larry Ward. But he's going to be kicking himself after this race, giving away a chance to battle with Stewart like that. He's got the speed, but right now, even if he's got the same speed, he's not going to catch him. Stewart's gone now.
Well, David, I hope that Chad Reed's grips are wired on, because he's going to have to twist them off to get back in the points. He's not even in the top 30. A perfect opportunity to battle with James Stewart. Reed falls down. Now, this is Jessman's crash.
Comes into the corner, already a problem. He's leaning too far to the inside. He knows that one's not savable. He's just trying to make the best of it. Keeps it running, but Stewart was all over him after just jumping that triple and closing the gap a little bit. He was able to get by no problem. That's the section where Stewart had problems, where he landed right there.
Now you can also see the gap between Stewart all the way back to second and third. Shows you how far out front he and Jessman were before Jessman fell. And now Jessman's starting to pull a little bit of ground on Larry Ward, who had moved up into third. David, this is the best we've seen Larry ride this year.
Well, he's got a good clear track ahead of him. He got the start he needed. He's on a track where he won the overall last year with a couple of second places in a great battle with Pastrana. And that section right there we just came out of is where he made a last-ditch effort and went down. So, I've said it a million times, when you into a track and won, you come back to it. You always feel pretty comfortable there. And didn't get the start the first moto.
This guy has no experience here at Redbud. They don't run amateur day on the big track. Tim Ritchie prefers to run it down on the night track. So even if Stewart had been here before as a kid, he's not gotten to ride this track.
It usually works out pretty good now. It's the same for Chad Reed as well. Those guys are both first and second in the points, so it's obviously not a big problem. Antonez, been a while since he's seen it. It's different since he last raced here, but that Saturday practice really gives everyone a chance to get the bike dialed in and the line.
Here you see Kelly Smith. He gives a look over to Antonez, and it looks like he's going to open the door. Smith is riding with a bruised hand. He said it was bothering him after the first moto, even though he finished 5th. He's going to go out and try and see how many points he can get. After a good start, he was up in the 4th place at one point, but now it looks like Smith's starting to fade back a little bit.
Well, he's doing a good job to just stay up there, and I don't think he feels like he wants to put up a fight with somebody that catches him that fast the way Antonez did. But he's still doing a good job surviving up front. He's ahead of Chad Reed.
Big, long circuit here at Redbud. Flows very well. A lot of the riders really enjoy this track. Again, this is the centerpiece of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Nationals, the halfway point. And there you see Walker going around the outside of Travis Preston to pick up 10th place. Now, this is Antonez again. Right behind him, though, that's Danny Smith battling with Paul Curry, a privateer Suzuki rider from Florida. Curry finished 14th in the first moto, and Smith went down early. He ended up finishing at 15th.
Whole batch of Suzukis. Antonez running 6th, Jessamine up front. Pretty impressed with this effort. Now, as we talked about at the top of the show, the 250 effort has just completely disappeared this year. Travis not here. Wyndham, who did so well here last year in the 250 class, not here. Hard to say if he's even going to come back to race, but their 125 guys have really filled in that gap.
And the one-man gang of James Stewart out front for Team Kawasaki. Speed World's presentation of AMA Motocross is brought to you by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Honda, performance first. This is LaRocco's League. This is what it looks like on a 125cc motorcycle. However, the 250s start climbing up the ladder, David Bailey.
And as you see in this shot with the 125 superimposed in there, the 250s are going about 2 stories higher. Of course, the 125s don't have the power to get all the way up over that thing, but one of the most fun jumps on the circuit, David.
Yeah, and we saw some 125s doing it during practice, including James Stewart. Stewart has been our leader since the 2nd lap here in the 2nd moto, and that's when Jessamine fell. It would have been a great chance for Brandon to show what he could do against Bubba, but he fell. However, Jessamine's done a good job of keeping him honest. And in fact, here he comes past the lap rider, Jessamine. That kid never quits.
He's actually started to close the gap a little bit, and I talked about his ability to ride fast at the end of the race, and that's what he's doing right now to Stewart, forcing him to ride hard. Stewart down into that deep rut, dragging his foot, gets it caught back there, almost goes down. Now that's what caused Jessamine to go down. Larry Ward in the first moto in a right turn.
At that point, that saved the moto for James Stewart and the overall.
If he'd have gone down right there, Jessamine would have been all over him.
So James Stewart about to win another national, and with Chad Reed unable to even get back into the points. Reed in 22nd place right now as we approach the checkered flag. James Stewart is going to pick up 25 more points, and that is going to give him a 27-point lead in the championships. James Stewart delivering today from dead last in the first moto to come through to second. In the second moto, after a couple squirrely laps in the beginning, he's able to outlast Reed, outlast Jessamine. He's going to get another overall win, his 4th of his young career. 6 nationals down, 4 overall wins for James Stewart, and there is the checkered flag.
Imagine what it would be like if he hadn't DNF'd those 2 motos. Add another 50 points to that 27.
So Stewart gets the win. Jessamine is 2nd. Larry Ward is best rider of the year in 4th. A little further down, Smith and Walker 6th, 7th. Paul Curry, a nice 8th place finish. Chris Gosler, we saw him vacationing. He finishes up 14th. Let's go to Cameron.
Well, one turn through Moto 1, you would have never thought we might be standing up here together. The overall champion, James Stewart, is 2nd in Moto number 1, a hard-fought battle, and then running away with it in Moto number 2. Although you did have a fall, are you happy with how you came through today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that first moto was awesome. I mean, I went down in the first corner, and I just, got up and I wanted to win, and I got all the way up to 2nd, and The second moto, I thought, I was like, oh, I got the whole shot to be over. But when you start thinking like that, that's when those guys start catching. And we got to go home and do some work. And I'm ready to kick some butt at Troy.
Ready to kick butt at Troy. I can't imagine what he was ready to do today. But Stewart gets the overall win. Jessamine second with a 6.2. Ward a 7.3. Good for the podium. And Chad Reed 1.22, sixth overall. Let's go back to Cameron.
Well, a pretty nice year going so far, Brendan. Jessamine, a 6th in Moto number 1, a 2nd in Moto 2. You're up here on the podium, and a 2nd overall. You got to be pretty proud of your finish here today in the heat as well.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I've been training in the heat a lot, trying to get used to it, and I mean, it seemed to work. I didn't get tired. I thank Gary Semick's my trainer, my mechanic James Coy, and Suzuki, Fly, Scott. I mean, I can't thank everyone enough for giving me the opportunity to get up here.
Well, one more spot up on the podium, and you're the champion. What do you think about next week?
Definitely. I mean, all I can do is go out and do my best, and I'll try and be happy with that. Hopefully it's coming soon.
Right on. Congratulations today.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Looking at the point standings, James Stewart now opened up a 27-point lead. And Ernesto Fonseca very quietly finished 4th in that second moto. 3rd place, he's 60 points down. And as for Chad Reed, David Bailey, up and down day.
And it could have been the same for Stewart, but he wants it bad. He dealt with his problems better than Reed.
For David Bailey and Cameron Steele, I'm Davey Coombs saying so long, everyone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.